What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. FantasyTeamAdvisors.com, bringing home the bacon, MLB DFS video. It is Friday. It is June 21st. We are back with another video. If you've never been here before, you're in for a treat. It's a little bit different, so stick around. Check it out. We go through every single game that we can. We look at everything. We look at batters. We look at pitchers. On top of that, we have giveaways every single video, and you could win the same as everybody else. Super simple and super free, basically. The only thing that it costs is your time. So, how do you win? The first way to win: like the video, be a subscriber, leave a comment on this video. If this video gets at least 50 likes on the video, you have a chance to win a free week of FTA+. If the video gets at least 100 likes, you have a chance at a free month. 150 likes, a free year, and 200 or more likes, a free $500 lifetime pass. Now, second way to do it, somewhere in this video I will have a keyword, and you will say that keyword, or you'll type that keyword, and you have a chance to win a free week of FTA+. You could win both of them the same day. We've never had that before. Come back every single day. You have a chance to win as much as possible. As many times as you come to these videos, those are the chances you have to win. So we're going to see who won from yesterday's video real quick. We had 60 likes on that video. So we are going to see who will be the two winners. So first one will be just because we got at least 50 likes. The second one will be the keyword. Michael Swick, congratulations yet again. You are the winner of the free week due to the videos. You did have the keyword of peaches, but we are going to re-roll this. You do have a chance to win. So all you got to do is email me, dfshelp1@gmail.com with, so I know that you saw, just acknowledge that you saw this video. So we're going to pick another winner, and it could be you. Let's check it out real quick, and we will move on to the day. All-Star MVP 22, congratulations. Email me, and we will get you your free week as well. So two winners every single day. Has never been the same person twice in the same day, but we've had multiple people win different days. So that being said, it's a little bit different today. So we got this early game that we can't play. It's not on the main slate. It's not on an early slate. You could play, if it's on the Fanduel all-day slate, you could play the all-day slate. But I highly go away from that just because it is one game. Anything could happen. So that being said, we are looking at making these videos even better. I brought something to the table yesterday, and it was a separate video for Thursday. People liked it. It got the views. And I don't know if you guys want me to put it in this video or have it as a separate video. So I'm just going to add it to this video today. If you like it, let me know. It is called Pitches Be Crazy. We are going over the pitchers that make sense, the top 5 that make sense over this team strikes out this much. And we'll get into it when we get there. But I wanted to break it down. If you've never been here before, please hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button if you have not. If you've been on the fence about signing up for FTA+, that includes a week, month, year, or lifetime for every sport that we offer right now. So current sports, MLB, PGA, NASCAR, and MMA. So check that out. We've got those going on this weekend. You can use 2 promo codes. We've put them in the video chats before. But if you're looking at signing up for a yearly pass, normally $199, use the promo code BIRTHDAY. All one word, all capital letters. Use the promo code BIRTHDAY, and you will get $100 off the yearly pass. You'll get it for $99 instead of $199. Or if you want to go with a monthly pass, normally $29.99, get it for $19.99 using the promo code YouTube. All one word, all capital letters. That being said, we are jumping into the games right now. We are going to start this. We're missing a couple of the pitchers, but I wanted to get this video out to you because I'm not going to be able to do it later tonight. I'm not going to be able to do it early morning Friday, so depending on when you watch this video. So, first game on the slate, we have Tampa Bay at Pittsburgh. Ryan Pepio versus to be announced. We come into here. It's an early slate. They think it's going to be Luis Ortiz. This might be the one where he doesn't. It's an opener, and then he comes in. It just depends. I feel like that's probably what they're going to do with this. It might be Lodzinski again and then Luis Ortiz. It really just depends what they're going to do. But he actually came in, did decent at 5,700. They bumped his price up now. I don't mind him in tournaments. Splits wise, we've got to make sure he's the one pitching. We got to make sure he's actually going to be in there for more than, if he's the long relief guy. That's what I hate about baseball right now, the way they've gone about doing that with openers and stuff like that. I absolutely hate it. Pepio here, we've got him in here. 4.57 ERA, so not the best. Against Pittsburgh, he has not faced him this year. Pitching on the road, he actually has a better ERA on the road, 3.18 and 4 less starts, so that might be why it's the case. And for people that have been here before or have not been here before, these videos are a little bit longer than probably what you're used to, but if you look in the description of this video will be today's article. And what we do is we have pitchers that we like and then about 5 bats at each position that we like as well. Straight off the cheat sheet that you can check it out. Ton of information here under the MLB tab, from player projections down to umpire factors, ballpark rates, a lot of things you can look at. So that being said, Pepio for DFS, I don't really like him. I'd rather take some of these Pittsburgh bats over everything else. Tampa Bay bats, their offense is not very good. I just do not trust them enough. They're 25th in strikeouts, so Tampa Bay strikes out about 9 times a game on average, 9.01. It depends on this opener situation for Pittsburgh. So if it is Luis Ortiz, I will have in some tournaments, but I will look at Pirates bats, O'Neal Cruz, Brian Reynolds, and Cabrian Hayes. Those are the 3 that I would look at. If you want to see more and you want to see how these pitchers do against righties or lefties, because, again, if I dug into every single batter on these games with these stats, these videos would be 5 hours long. You can go to FantasyTeamAdvisors.com. Under MLB tab, go to batter splits. And it's up to date every morning, usually by 10 a.m. It's up to date from the previous day's games and if anything has changed. So looking at that, O'Neal Cruz, Brian Reynolds, Cabrian Hayes. You could look at Kutch for tournaments. I do not mind him. And I did forget to mention, you could probably already see it in the chapters, but at the end of this video, we're going to give you the top 20 bats after 10,000 simulations, and then we're going to give you all of the batters that have a 10 out of 10 matchup rating as well. So this early slate, instead of digging into it, let's try a little bit different. Luis Ortiz for tournaments, I'm okay with. I want nothing to do with Taijuan Walker. I would take Arizona bats. Corbin Carroll got the day off on Thursday. I don't think he was sick. I think it's just a day off. He would be at the top of my list. Corbin Carroll. Christian Walker had another home run in that game. I would look at Lourdes Gurriel Jr. I would look at Ketel Marte for Arizona. Montgomery against Philly. I want nothing to do with Jordan Montgomery here. You kind of just look at his numbers. 5.68 ERA. Has not faced them this year. Away game still has a 4.50 ERA, and he's got to go into this hostile environment. Stack all of the Philly. Trey Turner's back. Bryce Harper against the lefty, I don't mind. Kyle Schwarber is God in June. I don't mind him. Got Castellanos. There are bats that I love. A full-on Philly stack here. I don't want Eric Fetty. I do want Pepio for the strikeouts, and we will talk about that during the Pitches Be Crazy segment. I do not want him for DFS. I want Pittsburgh as a stack. And then Jack Flaherty. I absolutely love Jack Flaherty here against the White Sox. We love to take pitchers against the White Sox. You guys know this. He's already faced them once this year. 6 innings in that game, 1 run, 7 strikeouts, 22.5 fantasy points. Jack Flaherty is probably my favorite pitcher on this. He is my favorite pitcher on this early slate. One of my top 3 on the all-day slate. The only problem is there is a little bit of weather concern here for the Detroit game. That is something we've got to monitor moving forward. So now, we are on to the main slate. Atlanta, New York is the first one. You got Chris Sale versus Carlos Rodon. Rodon has really righted the ship. The Yankees got embarrassed on Thursday. Luis Gil got absolutely demolished. This is where I will differentiate myself from other DFS providers. I'm not hiding it. I'm not going to remove this article. I was on Luis Gil. I was wrong. Luis Gil, I was wrong about him. It cost me money. It probably cost you money, but that's the difference. I am letting you know. These are just my insights. These are what we've been doing for 10 years, breaking down each and every game. The problem with this one, Chris Sale, obviously very expensive. The Yankees generally hit lefties very well. Chris Sale has had success against them in the past. 78 plate appearances with a 47.4 K percentage. Obviously was with Boston, was with the White Sox. Most of these guys weren't on this in the league when he was with the White Sox. Boston, when he wasn't hurt, he's on. The problem is, I don't understand. I don't understand how his 47-pound emaciated frame doesn't snap with the way he throws the ball. 2.98 ERA, 99 strikeouts, splits. Away games, he is a little bit worse on the road, but again, I will be on Chris Sale here. He did have a bad game against Oakland, so he has been known to give up some bad games. The Yankees hit lefties well. I love Chris Sale here. If we're looking at Yankees, we're obviously looking at Judge. We're looking at Stanton. We're looking at Volpe. We're looking at Juan Soto, and that's probably it. I don't trust a ton of the other ones. Maybe Glaber. Glaber is cheaper option, and he had a home run on Thursday. But I do love Chris Sale. And then Atlanta bats. Atlanta bats generally hit lefties well. Carlos Rodon has been pitching out of his mind this season. Which one are we going to get? Is it going to be the guy who gave up 5 earned runs against Boston, or is it going to be the guy who absolutely shoved against Minnesota with 9 Ks? I don't know. Atlanta bats that we would look at. Marcell Ozuna against a lefty, I'm all over. Give me Marcell Ozuna. Travis d'Arnaud in this ballpark, yes. Adam Duvall might be in this lineup. He would be one I'd look at. Austin Riley would be another one that I'd look at. There are a ton of bats that I like. Those are probably the main Red Sox, Braves bats that I would look at. I do like Chris Sale, both cash and tournament. I think Rodon only tournament for me today. Red Sox at the Reds, you got Cutter Crawford versus Andrew Abbott. Now, Crawford has been great this season. My problem is he is in this ballpark that loves to give up a ton of home runs. And you can check it out under the MLB tab under ballpark ratings. Game log wise, he's been really good against the Yankees. He was good against Philly. Splits wise, he's not faced Cincy this year. On the road, he's actually got a better ERA on the road. I think people will be off of Crawford because it is Cincy. The ballpark, I would take Cutter Crawford in this one, especially if this game with the Yankees gets rained out. You got some big pitchers there that are going to be out. You could sneak down and get some Crawford down here at 8,200, a little bit cheaper there. I would not mind him whatsoever. The bats, so Andrew Abbott. It depends if we're looking at bats in this one. The bats I would look at. So let's look at Abbott real quick. So we used him his last start. Okay. We used Andrew Abbott his last start, game log wise. Didn't do very well against us. Only gave up 3 earned runs, but only had 3 strikeouts. I'm not using him again. No, I'm thinking Nick Lodolo. We did stack the Milwaukee Brewers against him because we love to stack Milwaukee against lefties. They only got 3 earned runs there. We look at this. He has not faced Boston this year. Pitching at home, he's got a 334. I would still give the advantage to Boston bats. Tyler O'Neill against a lefty, I don't mind that at all. As long as he stays healthy, could be a home run there. That would be my number 1. Number 2, I would look at Jarren Duran, and 3 would be Rafi Devers. Those would be the 3 that I'd look at. But if you're trying to find some value because this player's in and whatever, David Hamilton might be a cheap option at shortstop for you. Rafaela could be another cheap option there. Those would be the ones that I'd look at. You could go Connor Wong as well, just in this ballpark if he's in. I don't know if it's going to be Wong or McGuire, but McGuire really loves Wong, if you know what I mean. So we'll see who the catcher is, but definitely would be a cheap option there at catcher for the Boston Red Sox. If you think Crawford's going to get lit up in this slate for whatever reason, obviously Ellie De La Cruz is one to look at. Will Benson's another one that I would look at. Candelario is another one I would look at. I know Santiago Espinal would be a very cheap option to offset if you're looking for a 4-man little stack there for tournaments. Moving to the next game, Blue Jays at the Guardians. We will see who they think it's going to be for the Blue Jays. They don't know. It could be Yariel Rodriguez coming off the IL. That is what it sounds like. Obviously, he would be in a He has not pitched since April 29th, went 3.2 innings there, has a 4.11 ERA, has not really done ideal. I would stack Cleveland. I don't want Rodriguez, and I don't want Carlos Carrasco. In this game, I'm probably off of Toronto bats for the most part. I would take a little bit of exposure to Vladdy. I would look at Danny Jansen, maybe Spencer Horwitz. If he's leading off, I like them. But I'm mainly focused on the Guardians. Jose Ramirez. Josh Naylor's been absolutely murdering it. Steven Kwan's been heating up. Andres Jimenez has been heating up. Those would be the ones I'd look at. I really don't want anything to do other bats. I really don't want anything to do with them. Those are the main Cleveland bats I'd look at. Toronto, maybe for tournaments you could stack, but I'm probably not. I'd probably be off of them. So I don't want pitching in this one. I want the Guardians bats. Then you got the Mariners at the Marlins. George Kirby versus Trevor Rogers. Kirby's obviously your cash option. Rogers is tournament option because the Mariners strike out an astonishing 10.11 times per game. Over their last 3, they've struck out 11.67. Over their last 1, 14. So they strike out a ton. We know this. We've talked about this. We've got the list. We've got the data. That's why we have Pitches Be Crazy segment starting. Trevor Rogers is tournament only because he has been, I don't want to say bad, but he's got a 5 ERA. Okay? I'm probably not even using him in tournaments. I'm probably only using him in, so DraftKings has the single stat home runs. So you pick 3 guys to hit home runs those days, and that's what they did. So FanDuel used to have that, but what they did was they pivoted and had strikeouts. So it's pitchers only, it's strikeouts, 3 guys, pick them, no salary. Trevor Rogers has the best matchup on paper against Seattle. Now, that doesn't mean anything because Trevor Rogers has been bad, but if you're playing that would definitely be one. Tournament, contrarian tournament, I'd go Trevor Rogers because we know he's got great stuff the past couple of years, or a few years ago he did. He's showed flashes of it this year. But other than that, no. And then I would look at George Kirby. If we're looking at bats, we're obviously, looking more Seattle bats, lefty bats against, or righty bats here for the most part. Cal Raleigh I'm looking at. Julio Rodriguez I'm looking at. Dylan Moore had another home run on Thursday. I would look at him. Couple of other options. Mitch Garver normally hits lefties well. Luke Raley normally hits lefties well. Mitch Haniger, GPP only, hits lefties well. There's a ton of batters here, like Victor Robles or even Ty France. It really depends. I think today the Mariners are one of those teams that I'm going to stack different guys in the side. I'm going to have multiple different Mariners stacks, all different combinations of these. There's just so many right-handed bats that hit lefties well that it could spell disaster for Trevor Rogers. And I want to get as much exposure to that team as I possibly can. So in this matchup, I'm using Kirby in DFS. I'm not using Rogers in DFS. I'm only using him on FanDuel for the pitching if I play a ton of it. Royals at the Rangers is next. Brady Singer, who's had success against this Rangers team. 71 plate appearances, 188 batting average against Nate Eovaldi. Eovaldi came back, got hurt, came back, pitched 3 innings, then they pulled him. Had a good game last time. Now he gets a team. Kansas City Royals are no pushovers. Brady Singer's got great numbers historically against them, but if you dig into what he has done this year, Brady Singer comes in with a 3.39 ERA. Splits-wise, he's already faced Texas once this year. Actually went 6 innings in that game, 1 earned run, 25.1 fantasy points. Now, that was in Kansas City, I believe. Let's see. Yes, that was in Kansas City. Now they're in Texas. It is the middle of June. It is hot and humid. The ball flies out of the stadium, which you can find. Go to FantasyTeamAdvisors.com. Go down to the ballpark stats ratings. Go look at how many home runs the stadium's given up. Then you look at the heat. Then you look at the weather to see where the wind is blowing. All of that would factor into this. So Singer has been good against them this year, but that was at home, which was a pitcher's park. Now they move to Texas in Arlington, where it is a hitter's park. I think people are going to be on Singer. I am probably going to be on Texas bats. So just looking at Texas bats that make a little bit of sense here. Corey Seager against a righty, I love. Jonah Heim, if he's in there, I love him as well. Nate Lowe is another lefty bat. Wyatt Langford, he is a righty bat, but looking at this, I love this because he's got speed. If he gets on the bases, he's stealing bases here. I love that. I love Wyatt Langford for stolen bases here. Those are probably the Texas bats I'm looking at. If I'm looking at only Kansas City against Eovaldi, who he has not faced them this year, I don't think. I think he was out when they last faced. Yeah, he did not face them. At home, he is better at home, 2.10 ERA compared to 5 on the road. Not the best start here against Seattle. Went 3 innings in that game. For whatever reason, they pulled him. So he's come back 3 innings, then they pulled him. He gave up 4 earned runs and had 75 pitches in 3 innings. We obviously cannot have that again, and Kansas City is a better hitting team than Seattle. So I'm probably going off of Vivaldi here. Probably looking at Kansas City bats. Bobby Witt Jr. is at the top of my list. If you have a Kansas City stack, he's got to be in that list. So Witt Jr. is there. Perez is there. Vinny Pasquantino are the main ones. If you're looking for a cheap option to round out a 5-man stack, Kyle Isbell and Nelson Velasquez, I do not mind them at all. So my sense, I'm not taking pitching in this one. I'm taking the hitters. I like Rangers a little bit more, but I will have exposure to Kansas City as well. Then we get the Orioles at the Astros. Grayson Rodriguez versus to be announced. Just so many of these Astros pitchers have gone down. Okay. We don't know who's going to be pitching for them right now. Framber just pitched the 18th, so he is out. Arrighetti just pitched. Could be Blanco. Last time Blanco pitched was Sunday, so it would make sense that would be his start, which I fully expect it to be. He has not faced Baltimore this year. Pitching at home, he's got a little worse ERA at home, and Baltimore is really, really hot. If it is Blanco, I will probably have him in tournaments, but I'd rather stack Baltimore bats here. Then you look at Grayson Rodriguez. 9,600 is very expensive. Game logs, 23, 20.8, 20.1. It's been really good. Has not faced Houston this year. In his career, has not had the best success. I'm probably off of pitching in this one. I'm probably looking at bats on both sides. I think this could be a high-scoring game. I think both of these offenses are hot right now. I'm looking at Gunnar Henderson. I'm looking at Ryan O'Hearn, Adley, be my main 3. Another one would be Anthony Santander. He's been one of the hottest hitters in June. I think he has 9 or 10 home runs in June after having 8 or 9 the first 3 months. So those would be the bats that I'd look at. Then we look at the Astros. Yordan has been, all he does is hit. I'm in on Yordan. Okay, number 1. If Trey Cabbage is in there, he's a cheap option to help you with a Houston stack. I'm on Trey Cabbage. I'm also on Yonder Diaz. Those are my main 3. A couple others I'd look at: Jake Myers, Alex Bregman, Altuve, or Pena. It really depends. It really just depends that I would be looking at mainly, I don't know if I'm going to go a full Astro stack, but I think you've got to have at least Yordan in there. Probably Bregman as well. Those would be my main 2, and then you could fill in to get the 5 if that's what you're looking for. So I'm off of the pitching here, especially if it's someone else other than Ronel Blanco, I'm specifically off of it as well. If it is him, maybe tournaments I'll have him. I just don't think I'm going to have Grayson Rodriguez today at all. Then we get the Nationals at the Rockies. I don't want this because it's in Coors, and we've seen a ton of runs scored in this ballpark. I would rather just focus on the bats. Obviously, Dakota Hudson, not ideal, and DJ Hers. If we look at DJ Hers, the rain, this is also a thing. You're going to see the rain because, again, the Rocky Mountains are there. You never know what's going to happen there. 3.77 ERA. Game logs, actually coming off a fantastic start against Miami with 13 Ks. Atlanta held them to 2 earned runs. Didn't do bad. You could look at DJ Hurst for tournaments, but it is Coors, and that's why he is 6,300. I'm scared of that. I'd rather take the bats in this matchup over everything else. So I give the advantage to Washington bats. The main ones I'm looking at are Lane Thomas, Jesse Winker, C.J. Abrams, and Luis Garcia. Colorado bats against a righty. Ryan McMahon would be one. Montero would be my second one. Britton Doyle would be my third. Those are probably the Colorado bats. I'd rather focus on Washington as a stack, and if you're looking for a secondary Colorado stack, a couple of them, but I don't love them. DJ Hers is in the top 5 of pitchers against a team that strikes out, and we will talk about that right now. Or we'll talk about that during the Pitches Be Crazy. You got the Twins at the Athletics. You got Chris Paddack versus Joey Estes. So Chris Paddack comes in. He's got a great matchup here in Oakland, which is a pitcher's park. So we always look at that. They think it's going to be Bailey Ober. So he last pitched against this team 5 days ago. So it's either Paddack or Ober. So we look at this, and he just faced this exact team at home last time. So if it is Paddack or it is Ober, I'm taking them, regardless of who it is. So really just, they might, maybe Paddack as an opener. Let's see. I mean, he went 2.1 innings against this same exact team. If it is Ober, I like him. If it's Paddack, I don't know if I do. Again, we're waiting on the news. Everything got pushed back because of a rainout, so we definitely are waiting here. If it's Ober, I will take him against Oakland. If it's Paddack, I might take him in tournaments, but probably that's it. Then you got Joey Estes. I am not taking Estes here. I am taking Minnesota. Minnesota bats. Royce Lewis is one of my favorite bats of the day. He's been absolutely on fire. It seems like he's hitting a home run every single time. I'm taking Royce Lewis 100%. He is in my lineup. Willie Castro's in there. Byron Buxton's in there. Then, if you're looking for two more, Carlos Correa, you could look at, or Carlos Santana. Those are the bats that I'm looking at. Not really other ones. You could look at Ryan Jeffers. I'm okay. I like Ryan Jeffers more against lefties, though. So if it's Bailey Ober against Oakland, I love that. If it's Paddack, tournament only, I don't trust it. If it's Paddack against Oakland, then I like Brent Rooker, Langoliers, Max Schumann, and Zach Geloff. If it's Ober, I don't want anything to do with this Oakland offense. So we'll just wait and see what changes here. Then we got the Brewers at the Padres. You got Colin Ray versus Dylan Cease. Dylan Cease, 54 plate appearances. I would take Dylan Cease here. Now, he honestly has been a little bit not ideal. And what I mean by that is, we look at his numbers. He's got a 3.95 ERA. We're kind of, strikeouts are there. You are getting a ton of strikeouts from this guy. Game log wise, 5.8, 6, 5.9. Like, we're getting them. Going up against Milwaukee, he's already faced them once this year. Got the W in that one. 6 innings pitched, 1 earned run, 7 Ks. Now he gets to face them at home, which is a pitcher's park. I love Dylan Cease. Dylan Cease is $10,000. He is expensive, but what's wild is he's not going to be as talked about, I don't think, as others, which is crazy. But I do love Dylan Cease. Bats-wise, none of them really jump out to me right now. Maybe they will once we do the 20,000 or 10,000 simulations. The bats, I'm probably just looking at Dylan Cease in this one, and that's it. Okay? So, the keyword of the day is green. The color green. That is the keyword. And let's take it home to Battle of LA, even though they're in Anaheim and not LA. We've got the Angels at the Dodgers. We've got Patrick Sandoval versus to be announced. The Dodgers pitchers are dropping like crazy. That's what's wild. Looking at this, who knows? Okay, so in theory, they're thinking it's, Landon Knack, okay? Even though he got sent down in May. So it probably is not him, depending on the news that comes out. Yamamoto, hurt. Walker Buehler, IL. Julio Urias punching his wife. Like, they don't have pitching right now. So we are looking at waiting on this one. Again, when it changes, it'll be updated with our simulations and stuff like that. So all we've got to go off of is Sandoval. Now, Sandoval's a lefty, and you guys know what I like about lefties here. But we look at it, 5.35 ERA, kind of up there. Game logs has not been good the past couple of games. Has not faced the Dodgers lately or this season. I am stacking the Dodgers. It's going to be very expensive. Not as expensive as being a Coors game, but Teoscar Hernandez against a lefty, absolutely. Will Smith, massive game, had a home run there, was our top catcher Thursday. Dominated there. I'm looking at them. Andy Pages would be a cheap option there. Shohei, you got to get him in there. It just depends. If you want a Dodgers stack, you got to get Pages in there. You got to get Lux in there, or a Miguel Vargas or Miguel Rojas, Chris Taylor. You got to find the value. Again, we've got to wait. This is the last game on the slate. We've got to wait to see who's actually going to be playing in the outfield or the infield for this Dodgers team. So I do want Teoscar Hernandez against the lefty. I do want Will Smith. Those are my top two. Ohtani's obviously my top three. Then we kind of, you got to slum it a little bit and go with like a Gavin Lux, maybe a little bit cheaper option. So there you have it. There's the breakdown of every single game, all of the pitchers, all of the batters that we like. Now, we are going to do pitches be crazy. Now, if I had a great editor or I knew how to edit, I would have, a thing pop up and say pitches be crazy and stuff like that. But we look at this, and I apologize. All right, apologize. My dog's decided to bark. So this is pitches be crazy. These are the top 5. Now, these are the top 5 based on the opponents and how they strike out. So, number 1 on the slate, and we kind of talked about this, Trevor Rogers versus Seattle Mariners. Seattle Mariners, we've talked about this in multiple different ones. Seattle strikes out an average of 10.11 per game, 11.67 over their last 3, and 14 over their last 1. Now, we look at this. Trevor Rogers is not good. This is only for the pitching that I would use. I would not use him in DFS, but in the FanDuel single game thing where you do the pitchers, he's got the best matchup. Maybe not the best pitcher to use because he's been not ideal, but he is the best matchup on paper. So Trevor Rogers is number 1. Number 2 would be Bailey Ober, if it is Bailey Ober for Minnesota. If it's Chris Paddock, tournament-wise I'm okay with, but again, like, if we look at this, so Ober against this Oakland team, his last game, 8 strikeouts, okay? Did what he needed to do. Paddock, game log, 0 strikeouts. If it's Paddock, I don't want him. If it's Ober, he's got the second best matchup against Oakland. They strike out 9.72 times per game, 8 over the last 3. And at home, it's only 8.95 compared to 10.46 on the road, but it's still a great pitching matchup here for him there. Number 3 is actually Andrew Abbott versus Boston. And I wouldn't really use him in tournaments or in DFS, but Andrew Abbott here, he has not faced Boston this year. Boston right now strikes out an average of 9.56 times per game. On the road, 9.5 times per game is where they strike out. So he has a good matchup there. Again, though, they do hit lefties. They have some righty bats that can hit lefties. We've got 3 strikeouts there, 5, 6, 3, 2. So a little bit lower, but these are, again, anything can happen. There could be other pitchers that go off and absolutely dominate, but these on paper, these are the best matchups for the pitchers. Number 4 is actually Ryan Pepiot against Pittsburgh. Now, Pittsburgh, they strike out 9.55 per game, 9 their last 3, 11 in their last game. When is it Pittsburgh at home? So Pittsburgh, or it's early. We could look at that, and that's that's the 4th best matchup there. I would actually use Pepiot in tournaments, but not for cash. Pepiot, 4th best on this list. Again, anything can happen, but 4th best on this list. And then actually the 5th one, Colorado. DJ Hers. Colorado strikes out 9.27 times per game. At home, 8.82 compared to 9.65 on the road. So at home, it's actually, they're a little bit better. So if it was on the road, it would be a little bit better. And DJ Hers has had a good game. He's been there. Number 5, I think he'll go very under-owned. That's why I like him for tournaments in DFS, but that's about it. So those are your top 5 pitches be crazy. If you like this segment, let me know. If it's helpful, useful, let me know as well. We can break it down in its own separate video, or we can just keep it here on the main video. That being said, we are now going to go over the top 10 bats, or top 20 bats after 10,000 simulations. Number 1, Jarren Duran. Number 2, Corbin Carroll. 3, Tyler O'Neill. 4, Kyle Schwarber. 5, Bryce Harper. 6, Alec Boehm. 7, Rob Refsnyder. 8, Seiya Suzuki. 9, Jake McCarthy. 10, Christian Walker. 11, Ellie De La Cruz. 12, Ketel Marte. 13, Christopher Morel. 15, David Hamilton. 16, Jake Cronenworth. 17, Rafi Devers. 18, Jock Peterson. 19, Will Benson. And number 20, Jurickson Profar. Now, all of the batters that have a 10 out of 10 matchup rating, it is a low list today, boys and girls, ladies and gents. 4 names pop up as of now. Schwarber, number 1. Seiya Suzuki, number 2. Christopher Morel, number 3. And Jurickson Profar, number 4. Not a ton of great batting matchups right now. Maybe things change. Maybe the wind starts to blow out. Maybe all of the other ballpark factors change a little bit, shift into our favor. Then the simulations will change, and hopefully we see some more on this list. Because that's actually a low list of 10 out of 10 matchup rating. But that's what we've got. That's your Friday slate. Full slate, 14 games. Check it out. We got early games. We got main slate. We got pitching. We got bats. We've got it all. That's what I've got. Hopefully you have success today. Good luck. And as always, bring home that bacon. Peace.